Hi everybody, we're going to do a very short video training on dementia and what it is and how we all react to the behaviors that we see here at the Lantern of Chagrin Valley. So dementia is a word that describes behaviors. Dementia is not a disease. There are different ways that we can have dementia. You might have had a brain tumor. We could have had Alzheimer's disease. We could have had Lewy body disease. Could have had a brain injury. Could have had a combination of different things that happen. And from that, we get different behaviors. Now, if we were out on a desert or out on a really hot day anywhere and didn't have enough fluid and we're in the hot sun, at some point we might get dehydrated and we might start having memory loss and even hallucinations. We might see something. You see that in movies a lot of times when people are out on the desert. That's called delirium. So it's short-term memory loss. But dementia usually means that description, like I just said, of all kinds of behaviors, including long-term memory loss. So dementia usually has a time span of about 10 to 12 years. It's not something that's short-term, it's long-term. And every day at the Lantern, we see all kinds of different things that we would think of as some of the behaviors for dementia. So, of course, memory loss is one. Word finding is another one, where people literally struggle with finding the right word. They call something by a wrong word. People who lose things easily. They also lose their place. Where's my room? Where do I live? Where's my car? You know, some of the kinds of things we see, again, every day with our residents who live with us. It could also mean that people have problems physically. One thing that we see a lot is people starting to have trouble walking because they don't have depth perception. So especially on pod 1, when they're looking down at the floor where we have the blue spots that are meant to look like water because it's kind of a golf course, flooring, they may think it's a hole or something that is dangerous to them. People often find that kind of thing when they're in an apartment, even in their own home, and they don't have adequate lighting. So if they can't see the floor, then they may think it's a hole or something they can fall into, so they don't step as confidently, and it makes them at risk of falls. Same thing when we have folks looking out the windows and they see street lights or they see headlights coming past them or they see trees blowing in the wind, they may think it's a person. We have a resident who hears the garbage truck, and when that garbage truck lets down the container that they use, what happens is he hears that thud and he thinks a bomb has gone off, and that's because of his history. So different things can mean different, fears, if you will, to different residents, but all these things combined kind of contribute to dementia. So word finding problems, difficulty finding their way, long-term memory loss, difficulty connecting to other people, managing direction, not remembering that they just ate lunch. They're still sitting at the dining room table. Difficulty with their activities of daily living, not remembering whether or not they went to the bathroom, took a shower, changed their clothes, swearing to you that they had done all those things. So we see that every single day. But when we think of dementia, we usually think of stages over that 10 to 12 years. And in our community, we believe that there are 7 stages. So in the early stages, we're very much akin to the age that we are. We just have memory troubles. So I forget my keys, I forget my glasses. It doesn't mean I have dementia. It just means I forgot my keys or my glasses, in the moment, which is age appropriate for me, I would hope. But as we progress with dementia, and people start to have more and more difficulty, then they need more and more assistance. And it starts to look like, as we progress through the stages, that our age, if you will, is changing in terms of behavior. But it's not really changing at all. It's just that our needs are increasing and our abilities are decreasing. But for those of you who have got a little bit more experience, you'll know that some of the folks that are on pod 2 in the later stages, they require the same level of assistance that a small child might need. Of course, all their meals and housekeeping, that's done for everybody. But these are folks that can't remember that they need to go to the bathroom, that they have gone to the bathroom, that they're even wearing any kind of undergarments, people that need help getting dressed, groomed, bathed, need help getting to and from the dining room, activities, don't remember what was said 3 and 4 and 5 minutes ago, but yet they could recall the song lyrics to something that activities is playing on the Alexa, or if they're playing movie from the past, they'll recall something that, again, from those earlier years. Those memories are the most preserved as we go through our stages of dementia. Now, we certainly have residents on pod 2. They're asking, is my sister coming to get me? Is my husband coming to get me? I need to get home to my kids. My parents are watching my children. I hear that regularly with some of the residents. And if you were to say, can you tell me how old you are, if I could be so bold? Most likely they're going to tell you that they're 30 to 40, 45 years old. There's no concept that these folks are the true age that we may see them. So as we come through the stages of dementia, we require more and more assistance, and some of the behaviors are more pronounced because the person has less ability and they're getting more fearful. If you literally couldn't remember, felt like you were always in an unfamiliar place, didn't even recognize the people that were loved ones to you, let alone our staff, had to be reoriented almost every single day to every single part of your day, that's scary. It's frustrating. So that's a lot of what we see. Now, most of the approaches to behaviors are things that don't require medicine. Medication should be our last resort. And we even use sleepy time tea at night, and there may be some folks who use medications to help them sleep. But the goal is to keep folks engaged as much as we can during the day so that they fall asleep naturally, just like we do when we come home from work. So what are some of the things that we do if someone's having a difficult time? Typically, just move the location. Let's go for a walk. Let's go into the dining room. You might offer something to eat, whether it's a glass of water, because of course we want people to be hydrated, and we have all those fruit-infused waters. Get them a cup of coffee, get them a snack or a treat, something that diverts them from whatever that moment of frustration is. It could be giving them an opportunity to enjoy something that we know that they enjoy. So for some, it may be looking at the paper, even though they can't understand everything. They're just used to reading the paper every day. It could be a magazine. It could be a favorite TV channel or show. And we have some residents that really love the news. We have some that like game shows because they're bright and colorful. We have some that like to watch HGTV. I have a gentleman I know that likes to watch Westerns. So those are the things. If we know a little bit about the person, we can use that as a diversion. We might even put on special music, and we have lots of DVDs and movies. So if we know there's a particular type of movie or show they like, we can do that. We might just sit down and spend time. Sometimes that person may have difficulty just expressing themselves. So sitting down, eye level, not being in their space, but helping them to kind of get out what they need to get out is important. Now, when someone says to me, I'm waiting for my sister, I can't come to dinner, I'm waiting for my sister. I'm not going to say, your sister isn't coming, your sister passed away 25 years ago. That's not going to help that resident. But what I can say is, your sister isn't here right now. Let's have dinner. Let's have dinner now. While you're waiting. So I didn't say anything that was going to cause further upset, but I tried to use a diversion, and particularly one that I know has worked in the past. So that's an idea. When somebody especially thinks a family member is coming, a family member is calling, sometimes that's another reason why they won't come out and join an activity. Well, we believe sometimes that that's related to the fact, not that I really think my daughter is coming, or that she's calling me on the phone, or that I'm getting a package, but because I'm having problems with word finding, with language, with understanding what's going on. I may not be able to color anymore. I may not be able to play bingo because I can't manage the cards or the numbers, what have you. So think about all those things. What are the types of diversions that you use that are successful for you? Could be, again, just removing the person from the frustration. If two residents kind of don't get along well, there's my little dog, or if we need to divert activities, again, introducing another activity, food. Those are some of the interventions that may work for us. If we don't see changes, or we see someone that's having a difficult time and it's going on and on, that's the time to involve the nurse so that they can make an assessment of what the next steps would be. So again, dementia is a word that describes behaviors. It also reflects a process that takes 10 to 12 years, and over that 10 to 12 years, the person is progressing through stages, and those stages then there's about 7 stages, and they're very progressive, and toward the end, the person may require a lot of assistance as if they were a younger child, if you will. So that is our little in-service for today, and I thank you for attending.